Today we're going to talk about water purification maintenance, primarily pre-filters. This specific system has 4.5 by 20 pre-filters in it, and what you're going to want to look for is your in, your first filter is going to be sediment, your out, your second filter is going to be carbon. These specific filters, depending on the specifications of your water purification system, will most likely need to be changed after the second time you change the DI tanks. In this specific system, it has two high capacity DI tanks. It's going to be fine for the first tank change that you have to do. The second tank change, when you're doing that, you want to go ahead and change these guys. We're going to go over today how to do such. With your system, should have came with a filter wrench. This is pretty important to have around because most of these filters will leak pretty bad unless they're on tight enough, and tighter than you can get with your hand. So what we're going to do is take this wrench, we're going to put it up through the bottom, and we're going to break it free. After you've actually got the bulk of it free, you can actually unscrew this by hand, and I highly recommend this. When it gets close to the end, this is pretty heavy. It's going to drop down. And all you're going to do, this is what a 5 micron sediment filter looks like for a 4.5 by 20. Most of these are pretty available and readily available at any hardware store, or of course, you can always purchase them through us on our online store. We would go ahead, this is a brand new filter, so I'm not going to go ahead and take it out. What you're going to do, you put your new filter in, you're going to make a little bit of a mess, and then you're going to need to lift this up. Roughly center it. Thread it back on. You're going to want to run it as far up as you can by hand. Get it tight. Then you're going to go ahead and put your wrench on. As you can see, I'm leaking. That's actually expected. I'm going to get this on. I have to turn it a little bit more. Run it up. Tighten it down. Once we're done with the sediment filter. Now we're going to repeat the exact same process for the carbon filter. Broke it free, just like we did the first time. I'm going to unscrew it. Drop it down. Same deal. This is a 5 micron carbon filter. Since this is a brand new filter, I don't necessarily need to replace it. Good point is you want to keep an eye on these. These little gaskets are here that actually seal up onto the inside of the housing. The sediment filter doesn't have one. The carbon filter does. There should be one on both ends. After you've changed your filter, you're going to repeat the exact same process. You're going to put this back up. Hand thread it on until it's all the way up. Take your wrench. Lock it down. Your pre-filters are changed and your system is ready to use. Hello, today we're going to talk about maintaining your high capacity DI filters. This specific system that I'm using for reference purposes has 2 high capacity DI filters. We're going to go over what's inside, how to replace it, and what you need to source to get it. These high capacity DI filters, each one of them holds 1 cubic foot of mixed bed DI resin. Mixed bed DI resin, you can always order through us, but I always recommend trying to source it locally. The reason why on that is it is about 50 pounds a bag, and shipping rates end up making it cost pretty expensive. But if you can pick it up locally, it's always the best road to go. What we're going to do is, first thing we need to do is get these tanks accessible. They're currently held in by this welded bracket that has some padding on it, but it's held in by hitch pins. I've already removed the bottom one, bottom side. All you're going to do is pull this up. You're going to do the same to the opposing side, and you're going to remove said bracket. Set it off to the side. Don't lose your hitch pins. We're going to service one of these. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the cam locks. We're going to open the cam locks. This system is brand new and still actually under pressure from testing. Don't get concerned. It will drip. It will leak a little bit. It is going to get a little messy. We're going to take the cam locks off. You always want to pay attention to your orientation, ins and outs. On this one, you can see my in from my pre-filters back there comes out of our pre-filters going to the in of the first tank, and then it comes over to the out, the second, going to the second tank. I'm going to take the out. I've already unlocked the cam locks. I'm going to take the in. I'm going to unlock the cam locks. Now, we're going to set this off to the side, and we're going to move the tank. This specific tank does weigh a considerable amount, considering it's got a couple gallons of water and 1 cubic foot of the mixed bed resin. Next thing we need to do is remove this head. This head just unscrews. I'm going to take it lefty-loosey. I'm going to unscrew this. I'm going to do it as gently as possible because we don't want to burr up any of the threads on the inside. Once we get it up where it's not coming up anymore, we're going to go ahead and lift up. We want to pay in mind that there is a drop tube down here. So remove this and the tube. And now this gets rinsed off, set to the side. And what you're going to do on this is on the inside of this, there's a couple different ways to get this resin out. And it's hard to see down in there, but you will see that it is almost like a sand. That is your mixed bed resin. You will also notice that it is not all the way to the top. This is intentional. 1 cubic foot does not fill it all the way up. Now, we've got this removed. The next thing is we would take this tank out, we would invert it, we'd turn it upside down, get all the media out. We would do a thorough rinse of the inside, and we would basically put the new media in. And once the new media is in, we're going to replace this. This is a brand new system, so I don't need to do this. When you've got the media in, but the drop tube is still attached to the housing, you are going to have to use some force to get it down to the threads. As you can see on this one, because it has some water in the bottom, it went in pretty smooth. If you're having problems getting this in, you can always put a little bit of water into the mixed bed resin, and that will actually make it so it's easier for you to push down. Then all you're going to do is thread this back on. You also want to pay attention because this is pretty tight and it does pressurize. So you want to turn it until it actually stops moving because there's an O-ring recessed right in here that seals. Now, just like we did in the very beginning, we're going to pay attention to our ins and outs. So this side, the in is now facing out, away from us. When we were taking this off, it was in the other orientation. We're going to put this guy back over here. And I'm going to pay attention to which way my ins and outs were facing. My in was facing towards this tank. The out was facing towards me. So now I've got it back in its correct configuration. Now I'm going to grab my outlet from my pre-filters, that hose. I'm going to pull it up. We are going to reattach the cam lock, pull all the way on. Pull these back to lock it, and I'm going to go ahead and move it back into place. Take my outlet, going to my second tank, get it all the way on, pull this back to lock it in, and then the last thing we're going to do is you're going to take your bracket that we removed in the beginning. You're going to put this guy back up. You may have to move around a little bit to get to set right. Got the holes lined up. You're going to drop your pins back in. Drop your pins back in. And then all you've got to do is turn your water system on, select your selector valve, and test the TDS with the little blue meter that came with the system, and make sure that your reading is close to 0 as possible, which in most cases is going to be 1 to 0.